What is the best dual sport? Well, that's a tricky question. So yeah, that's the trick with that whole conversation about what is the best dual sport. Well, I really think a lot of it is subjective, and it depends on who the person is and what kind of riding they're doing. The best dual sport in the world to me is going to be different than what it's going to be most likely for you. So if you're in the market for trying to figure out what kind of dual sport to get, you want something road legal that can handle the off-road stuff, you need to have a good clear idea of just how much off-road you're going to do and what sort. This is ATV trail stuff. Okay, it's got whoop-de-doos, it's got a lot of loose sand, a few roots, some hill climbs, descents, you know, things like that. And if that's kind of the stuff you're looking for, and you're not looking to scream through here at 50 miles an hour, then there's going to be a lot of bikes that'll do this. You could get a DRZ 400 with this 30-year-old technology, carburetor and all that other stuff, and it would do this. It would be heavier, it would be less powerful, but it would do it. People do it on DRZs all the time. You could buy a CRF 250L. It's been around for a long time. A lot of people use that for this sort of stuff, and it does it. Or their new 300. It will be heavier, and it's not going to be nearly as powerful as a Beta. I would venture to say even the 350 Beta, which is the second to smallest dual sport they've got. They've got a 125 as well, but I'm not really counting that in the same category because 125 to me is pretty small for an adult, unless you're a female rider and you're looking for something that is much lighter, much easier to manage. And then that 125 would be a good thing. Or if it's your very first bike and you know you'll outgrow it and replace it after a year or two, but you really want to start off with something that's not, you know, super intimidating, then the 125. But I don't really consider the 125 much, because even with my limited skill level, I know that the power of the 125 would not make me happy. Now you can check out Ferret Face Fail Productions channel, as well as Meeker Extreme. Meeker had a 125 for a while that he bought. Ooh, I thought they were coming at me. Another trail. But I got stopped. But Meeker had a 125 Beta RRS for a while. Did a lot of videos on it. You can check that out. You can hear his thoughts on it. He's got good thoughts. And you can, you know, see how it does in these woods like this. See, like most of these roads like this, these main roads, they don't allow unlicensed vehicles on it. Now, we've seen some ATVs and some side-by-sides on this road since we got up here today, and I honestly don't know if this specific road allows that or not, but I know a lot of the places that I go to ride to here in Colorado do not allow side-by-sides and unplated bikes on these main roads like this. So that's why I like the dual sport. So this young man in front of me has been riding a lot more than I have over his life. Started as a kid, always had dirt bikes. Used to ride with his dad all the time. So he's a lot better at this than I am, much faster, even on a bike that he's not familiar with. My dad would never buy me one. He didn't like them because my uncle rode them and would crash and get hurt. And my dad, he always called these things coffins on wheels and death traps. He never rode them. Never wanted any of his sons to ride them. I caught the bug, and I've always had the bug, but I've always had to finance it myself. Even as a 9-year-old or 10-year-old when I bought my first one from my friend. I had to earn the money to do it. But even though I'm not as fast as he is and as skilled as he is, it doesn't mean I don't enjoy this. It is fun. It is fun. I did let Justin take a spin on my bike. He's wearing a helmet that doesn't have a camera on it, so we didn't film it. But I'm kind of wondering if I'm going to make a believer in these betas out of him. Because he's already admitted he likes riding mine better than he does that KTM. And I don't think that's the fault of the KTM. It's 5 years older than mine. It's a 2016. It's got a lot more miles. The rear tire is not as new as mine. And of course, it's not set up for him. Suspension isn't adjusted for him or anything. But he really likes the suspension on this beta. Speaking of which, Ferret Face was over at my house the other day, and we were talking about things and kind of looking at the bike and stuff, and talking about the suspension a bit. And I actually, with Ferret Face there, did 2 clicks softer on the compression on the front forks on this, trying to make it a little more plush. I'm not sure I can feel it. I think I kind of can. It's just so hard for me to know because I'm not an expert at that sort of thing. But I think it's a little less harsh. This is a fun road. We might have to turn around and come back up it. See if I can grab some air here. Ooh, that time I could feel the plushness of that front fork. That landing was a lot softer than what they used to be. Here's another one. Yeah, I like that better. Alright, so looks like so far the experiment of the plusher front forks is making me happy. You know, there are times, days like today, where I wish I was this advanced, skilled rider, that I could really push this bike, utilize the power, fly through these trails. But I just don't have the skill set for it. I don't know how deep it is. I can't see it.
We could get through there. This is as deep as it gets. You stay to the right. I can see it.
Okay. That doesn't look too bad. Famous last words. I haven't done a serious water crossing on this thing yet. A couple of little bitty puddles, but nothing like this. Woohoo! I made it. Yeah, he's got way more, got a much bigger skill set than I've got. I just don't know how he goes around those corners that fast without sliding out, falling down. It's a skill I never developed growing up. Never did this sort of riding growing up. see. Dusty, dusty. So what is the best dual sport? Well, just like every other YouTube video that doesn't give an answer that everybody likes, I'm not going to either. My answer is going to be, it depends on how you're going to use it. Every dual sport bike has its strengths and its weaknesses. And I think the trick that we have as riders is figuring out what our riding style is, where we ride, the type of terrain. Are you on rocky hard pack? Are you on this loose gravelly pea gravel stuff like I'm in here? How good are you at, you know, managing lots of power? Should you get something with a smaller engine? But for the way I ride and where I ride, I'm having a hard time thinking I'd have been better off with another bike than this one. And if I was to get a different one for this sort of riding, it would still be a Beta. It would just be a 390 instead of the 500. Look at that. This little action camera's not going to do this stuff much credit, but this is beautiful. Just gorgeous.